Hi guys, so in today's video I'll be sharing with you all how to take notes from textbook. So this is a very much requested video, but before starting let me quickly tell you about Unacademy. So Unacademy has recently come up with their CLAT courses. CLAT is basically for anyone who wants to pursue law as a career or become a lawyer. So they have come out with their 1-year batch, which is starting from 21st of December. So for anyone who's preparing for CLAT exams in 2022 or who thinks of becoming a lawyer after a year, this is a perfect batch to start your early preparations since these entrance examinations are not so easy. Unacademy provides you with top level educators who actually teach you live, so everything is going to happen live. They guarantee to complete the entire syllabus in that 1 year. They have monthly test sessions, there are mock tests, and also they are way affordable than the coaching classes available outside. If you are interested, you can use my code Himani10 to get 10% off. So again, it's a win-win situation for you since it's going to be a year before. So obviously you'll have a lot of time to prepare, and the earlier you start, the better it is. And if you have any questions about your doubts, then your doubts can be cleared very easily. All you have to do is just to click a picture of your doubt and send it to them, and they'll send you your solution in the format of a video, which I think is really nice. So you do not have to worry about how your doubts are going to get cleared. Also, the batches are very flexible, and obviously there is going to be limitations, so make sure you go ahead and book your spot fast. I'll be linking all the links in the description box below, so do not forget to check it out. Now moving on to our video on how to take notes, so let's get started. I'm sure you must have seen my notes a couple of times now. So my notes are always in pointers. Basically everything that I write is from textbook, and the sticky notes that I put up in my notes are either some extra information or something that I have missed out from textbook or something that my teacher asks me to add on. So this is how my notes usually look, and if you compare it to my textbooks, it's pretty like almost similar way, since I have highlighted a lot of points, and like it's almost like a copy paste version. But when I say it's a copy paste, I don't mean that I use the same sentences. I definitely change the sentences. So this is an overview of it. If you want to see in detail how I take notes, I have a video in the description box below you can check out. Now coming to textbook to your notebook. So here I have chosen this chapter. As you can see, you'll need a highlighter, of course, to highlight in the textbook. Now if you see, first and the foremost important thing is the title or the heading. So obviously you have to write that. You can write chapter and the way you like it, but writing the exact same heading is very beneficial. The next thing that you want to do is completely skim read your textbook. This is very important. A lot of people just read the first page, last page, or the summary, but skim reading the textbook is very important, because once you skim read, then and only you will get an idea which points are important, which points are supposed to be highlighted. Instead of just highlighting the entire textbook, it's important that you read and then highlight. So once you have read, next is the introduction part, which I think in every textbook you have. So this is the first thing that goes in your notes. Introduction of the chapter, whether it's the description about it or what this chapter is about. As you can see, I've written it similarly here, and usually you will find the answer in the first 7 to 8 lines of that introduction. Always included, because it kind of gives you a gist, even if you were reading your notes for the first time or someone else is reading your notes. So introduction is again important. Now if you see in my notes, I have used a highlighter sometimes I've used the same color pen, gel pen. So that is because it's like important points, sub-points, subheadings and subtopics, all of that, which again I'll tell you in the further part. So here you can see like how there are bold or highlighted points in your textbook itself. So that is how I have written it. Whichever is bolded in the textbook, I have highlighted in my notes. Like here you can see the batch culture was bolded in the textbook, so I have highlighted here in my notes. Also, I have always chosen a color scheme to my notes. That is again very important. Do not mismatch the colors. Pick a particular color and preferably use the same highlighter in that same chapter when you're taking notes. Now nextly, if you see, here similarly I have different sections. Some of them are like kinetic section in the notes, some of them are descriptive sections, some of them are completely pointers. So here you see this was another sub point, and the entire sub point was filled with a lot of description, a lot of theory. So just see how I have concised the entire theory into so small. So how to do that? Now it's very easy. Usually the starting of the theory and the end of the theory, like the subtopic, is the main thing. In between you'll either find something that is extra information, something that is just to add on, or something is very descriptive. So you should know that which is the least and the summarized part in your textbook. So over here the starting of the fed batch culture is highlighted because I knew that that is important. Then in the back side this was important because that is when it concluded the entire topic. So this is what I'm saying. Honestly, the introduction of the heading and the conclusion of the heading is very important. So find your main points there. And when it comes to the mid section of anything, there you can just simply, look out for any pointers or any words that are highlighted. Similarly here, if you see, there are more numericals like mathematical information. Here, as you can see, it's kinetics for variable. So there is so much of information given in the textbook, but if you see my notes, it's very less. How come? In the textbook they have described each and every steps in very detail, but here I have used a shortcut. I have given symbols, and that is how I can remember things also. So there were a lot of more derivations ahead, and for all of them I've given these small symbols. So that way not only my notes look smaller and concise, but they are also easy to understand and remember. Another doubt or question a lot of people have: how do we know which diagram to draw, which reactions are important? Like here you can see I've drawn some diagrams and some reactions. So how do you know that? Again, that is very simple. Pick up any diagram or whatever chapter that you are reading. Pick up any of that chapter. Like here you can see there's a diagram. Always there's a heading or a title given to the diagram, usually in the bottom of the diagram. Like here you can see figure 1.1, figure 2.2, something like that. So read that entire title and then say that, can you make a question out of it? If you can make a question out of it, then that is important. Here there was just the types of different forms, so that was not important. I mean, I cannot make a question out of it. But here there was the engagement reaction between enzymes. So obviously there can be a question like, how is the engagement reaction between enzymes? So that is a question format. So then that is important. Here there was like a 3D image, so obviously nobody's going to ask you to draw a 3D image. Similarly over here there was like immobilization of enzymes. So there can be a question like, how is enzymes immobilized, or how does immobilization of enzyme occur? So always read the title given to the diagram in your textbook and then think that, can you make a question out of it? If you can, then you have to draw that diagram, or you have to study the diagram. Now another thing is pointers. If you see my notes, like majorly all my notes are in points and not in like descriptive format or in theory format or paragraph format. That is because I always concise everything. If the sentence is long, I will turn it into short. So if you want a video on how to convert long sentences into short for your notes, then let me know. As you can see here, there are so many different things structured in points and very huge paragraphs. Still, I know how to concise them into small 2 to 3 lines. But for this, obviously, you need to know some major words, and your vocabulary also should be good. But try to minimize the amount of information you're taking from textbook. Do not just live the entire paragraph and add it into your notes, because that way, if you're doing that, why do you even need to make notes? You can simply just refer your textbook. Another important point is changing or framing your sentence differently. For example, if the sentence is photosynthesis is the process of converting chemical energy into food for, plants or green plants, you can change this textbook sentence into something like green plants produce their food through the form of photosynthesis, which converts light energy into food energy, something like that. So this was my video. I hope you guys like it and find it helpful. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel.